welcome back to Cheer Up. Today I'm reviewing a book after a very long time. So I'm reviewing this book, Who Killed Shastri? The Tashkent Files by Vivek Agnihotri. On 11th Jan 1966, one day after signing the peace treaty with Pakistan, where even after India winning the war, a large chunk of land was given back to Pakistan, India's second Prime Minister, Lal Bahadur Shastri, died under mysterious circumstances at Tashkent in the villa he was provided by the host country Russia. The body reached India within some hours, and by the time, strange blue patches were seen on Shastriji's body, and there was blood oozing from the corpse staining his clothes. Even though post-mortem was demanded by the family who alleged foul play, it was never carried out, because of which the actual reason for his death is still unknown. Now, this is what is there in the public domain, and something like this raises more questions than answers. Vivek Agnihotri tries to dive deep into the controversies and conspiracy theories to find facts and proofs of the secret Shastriji's death holds. The movie we know was controversial for the topic itself, and some film critics even refused to review it, but it went on to become a box office hit. People really liked the movie. The book was released after the movie, and this is what I'm going to review today. The author Vivek Agnihotri has written it as a monologue, explaining their journey, searching for facts to make the movie, sometimes in despair, sometimes in luck, the hard work put in all the time, highlighting the problems people face when searching for answers in the corridors of power. The book starts with what made him think of finding about the truth behind Shastriji's death. He was disappointed and frustrated to find out that his 14-year-old son did not know about Shastri and how our school system has failed us, as our education teaches only selective topics that fit a particular narrative of India. So the author tweeted that, "Let's not forget today is also Lal Bahadur Shastri's birthday on October 2nd, and the response it received, he says, took him to the journey of discovering about our second Prime Minister." Then he goes on to analyze how Shastri became the second Prime Minister. It was a well-known fact that Nehru wanted his daughter to lead the nation. So how all of a sudden a meek-looking 5 feet tall individual became the next Prime Minister? He explores how the way India's development was conceived by Nehru, which is very Western in thought, and how very different it was from that of Shastri's idea of India. Personally, I feel that Nehru bashing in this book is a little overdone, because after all, he was our first Prime Minister and the country was just emerging out of colonial rule. But when we think of as a nation how much we have eulogized over Nehru, then it's okay to look at the other narratives also. And that's what the author has done. Also, when he says that if Nehru had a death like that of Shastri, would we as a nation reacted in the way we did when it was Shastriji's, I think there is an element of truth in it. Throughout this book, he takes us through this journey of finding out the truth. In the process, he shows how the mechanisms put across by the ruling elite like the RTI etc. to help citizens find truth are cumbersome and does not work the way it should. Many observations about India, our democratic processes, problems of ordinary citizens are to the point. But just that these topics are not related to Shastriji's death as such. So if you are like me who simply wanted to know exactly who killed Shastri, you will be disappointed. Various narratives are laid in front of us by the author to find out who killed Shastri. He starts with finding out if there is anything suspicious at all in Shastriji's death, as it is said that he had heart ailments. The book takes an approach of negating various viewpoints by using the materials gathered in order to find out what might have caused his death. I was reminded of Mandukya Upanishad trying to tell you what is pure consciousness by saying Neti Neti. He takes the same approach here to arrive at truth. Similarly, as mentioned before, the manner in which Shastri became the second Prime Minister and not Indira Gandhi, and the uneasy hostile relationship they shared are explored in the book to provide the angle of whether Indira Gandhi and her supporters had anything to do with his death. But as I mentioned before, no concrete answers are given. Yet, by vividly explaining many things that transpired between them, we are given a clearer picture of things, and thereby a needle of suspicion points towards an insider hand. The book does a very good job in giving us insights about the way our country functions and the political clout one family has. The most important chapter in this book is the Mitrokhin archives, which lays bare how Russia infiltrated India during the Cold War era. Similarly, we are all aware that the words secular and socialist was added during emergency through 42nd Amendment Act. But why did Indira Gandhi do it? It is pondered in this book and it does a good job in this also. We get to know a lot of things about Shastriji, his contributions to economy and defense. Many things our school textbooks did not teach us. However, this book is not a thriller, and if you are looking for some quick answers like me, you will be disappointed. The book is all about the tedious journey undertaken by the author to find the truth, and he takes us through this journey, because of which we also feel frustrated at times, as in many pages things are just not moving forward. I think the book would have been better if it was more concise. A little crispier and a shorter read would have done better. The author keeps digressing into the mundane and keeps repeating things again and again. Otherwise, it's a very easy read. And the quest for the truth by the author has to be appreciated. Yet, it is left to us to arrive at a conclusion by the author. And here I'm confused as to, did the CIA do it or is it the Russians? Though somewhere I'm convinced that Indira Gandhi government had played into the hands of Russians. So the book tried hard to get to the bottom of murky politics. The interview with renowned journalist Kuldeep Nair, who was there at Tashkent during Shastri's death, is given in the book. It is the last interview on Shastri's death by Nair, as he passed away 3 months after this interview. Also, the author has spoken to Shastriji's family members, and their inputs also find place in the book. Overall, except for the slow pace and some digressions from the topic, it is a good read to understand the various nuances of how our country was run during the Cold War era. The book is available on Amazon for Rs 526. Hope you liked my review. Thanks for watching.